welcome to the third annual. I don't remember.
I don't know. Don't ask me. Right now, this is to me. I'm not liking this year for our predictions, only because I'm not as prepared as I usually am. Only because of scheduling and new job, working 2 jobs now. It's just life catching up with me pretty much. Hopefully next year will be better. This year I'm gonna do the best I can because I'm usually always on top of watching as many movies as I can for these. So I'm going to do the best I can from what I've been hearing, from gossip, from what people are talking about, things like that overall. But yeah, welcome again to our annual Oscar predictions for this year, as Oscars is literally right around the corner, or in this case, it's tomorrow night. As you know,
to our 5th annual.
Damn, you were
Oscars
way off then.
Yeah, I was way off. Oscars, fuck, we've been doing this for a while. I think I love our first one the best because we really decided to work camera work on that for stupid shit.
No,
but welcome to our 5th annual Oscars predictions, this time for 2022. And what a year it's been of movies I caught up with within the last 2 weeks. God, in your life. So how we do it, folks.
I mean, go ahead, sorry.
So how we do this, folks, is we're not doing all the Oscar predictions. We're doing the main ones we actually care about, not the technical ones.
We look at the ones that really matter in our books, or at least are like the main ones to look out for, because these ones really stand out amongst films, from visual effects to, of course, cinematography, to even down to the original and adapted screenplays, pretty much overall.
Yeah. So basically, the way it works is what we usually do when we didn't have life punching us in the face is we get all the movies caught up, we take our little notes here and there, we research mass predictions, and we would tell you what we're picking. We're
not read off, but we just pretty much give our predictions.
Like we do our bit of research, and then we do our predictions right here on the video. Not exactly the same case here. Like I said, we've been busy. So I have come up with all 10 Best Picture nods, and I've
only watched 7 out of the 10 Best Picture nods.
And Best Animated, I've seen all but 2 of the films.
All but 1, because I didn't even know that 1 was also nominated for Best Documentary at the same time, which is really weird. But we'll get to that later.
Is that one Flea?
Yeah.
Damn it. Great. The unique one I don't watch is fucking. Yeah, the only additional one I watched was original screenplay for Lost Daughter.
Well, we don't have to dive into every single thing right now. We'll get to it when that time comes. But let's start off. Let's start beginning. This year was just a massive amount of good films, pretty much overall, that even I wasn't expecting, left turns, ones that I was hoping to show up in Oscars, but they didn't make it to the Oscars. Mm-hmm. But the ones that we did watch, or at least we did enjoy, did get to watch, I enjoyed. I really did. I had fun with it. But let's start off with the first one. Our first one to start off of things, the swing of things, is Best Visual Effects. So, we have Dune,
Spider-Man, No Way Home,
Free Guy,
No Time to Die,
and Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Yeah.
So out of all these, I've only seen 1, 2, 3 of the 5.
I've seen 4 to 5. I haven't seen No Time to Die.
Yeah,
I
haven't seen Free Guy or No Time to Die.
It was on my list, but to be fair, a lot of the movies I was watching were like 2.5 hours plus. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, No Time to Die is one of the longest Bond movies ever. So yeah, I did see it. I did see the other ones though. They're all good. Visual effects wise, I think they all bring a little something. I guess No Time to Die, you could really say, definitely brings more of the realistic visuals. So you can say the same thing for Dune. Yeah, Dune. Yeah. You say the real thing for Dune. I mean, I like Dune's visuals. They were dreary and full of sand. I don't know what to say. It's a very sci-fi aesthetic for what Dune's visuals provided. To be fair, they were good, but we'll get to that in Best Pictures. But I know the visuals were good in Dune.
Yeah.
Spider-Man No Way Home, it's an MCU film, so I mean,
At
visuals.
least I got in there.
Visuals vary, like depending on like who's working on it, Marvel wise. I think the same can be honestly said. I'll just jump right to Shang-Chi. Same could be said for Shang-Chi as well.
Yeah.
It's about the same boat. If I had to choose out of those two for best visual, I think No Way Home had a bit better.
That had a bit better visuals than Legend of the Ten Rings.
And Free Guy was
a lot of like the mystical creatures and stuff like that. So
and Free Guy was just video game characters.
that's all it was. But I haven't seen it, but from what I heard, it's like that's all it really was.
It really depends on how you look at best visual. Are you going for a more detailed, realistic approach? Are you going for the more like they put a lot of effort in, just put a lot of effort into it kind of approach? I mean, if we're going off of put a lot of effort into it, it's probably definitely between something like Spider-Man and Dune.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of visual, like for Dune, definitely there's a lot of like they definitely use visuals.
But of course, down to it, you know, what do you decide on from these 5? We're going to swoop it up every now and then. Where the next one, I'll be the first one to make the next pick, and then back and forth.
So the thing with Shang-Chi is that the visual effects are kind of just go into stereotypical like MCU third act fodder.
The thing is, between Spider-Man No Way Home and Shang-Chi, Shang-Chi has more of the that's why I said mystical creatures and dragons and stuff like that they're making there. Compared to like No Way Home, you have more of like the realistic type of what they're trying to do with these effects. The realism of him swinging, and moving all around, and you got the other baddies and stuff like that. So that's what I said. It's like between these two, like I said, the more realistic version you're looking for visually is most likely going to be No Way Home itself. Because like I said, you're dealing with Legend of the Ten Rings is just doing mystical creatures, like something you see out of Pokemon or something, for just the visuals of like, for these creatures that like people are seeing.
Yeah, I think I'll go with, I don't know. See, I didn't see No Time to Die, so I can't really say anything on that front, but I'm gonna go with Spider-Man.
You're gonna go with Spider-Man? Me personally, I'm gonna go with Dune. I actually watched it as of today. I finally watched it. And when dealing with sci-fi, they really wanted to make sure that it's like that realism of the sci-fi was there, and they really deliver from the sandworms to the ships that are coming from up the sand to even coming from space and stuff like that, and the ships that they're flying. They really went into detail and like trying to deliver something that's like really bring you into the world of Dune, and that's my choice. That I had for that one, I had to go with Dune overall, because it was just the elements of it was just fantastic. So that's pretty much our choice overall for pretty much visual effects. So next we dive into best animated feature film.
Okay.
This one we have Encanto,
Luca,
Flea,
The Mitchells vs. the Machines,
and Raya and the Last Dragon.
Yes. So 2 of these I haven't seen, which is obviously Flea and Raya. Though I've seen bits and pieces of Raya, I haven't seen anything from Flea.
The only one I haven't seen is Flea, so I can easily go off of all the other ones.
I was talking about this earlier with somebody else, but like, I don't know, I talked to you about this last night, which was that it's probably going to be Encanto because of just the popularity vote.
Yeah, right now
it's very well talked about. It's garnered a lot of buzz with its music, with its visual. Here, I have my notes here about what I thought of the films.
Yeah, go right ahead. Put down. Go ahead and discuss.
Give me 1 second. Let me find. I can't think where I put it. Yeah, Encanto had a good soundtrack, had a good, amazing animation, like good story to it, and some good performances overall. But I felt like it was a bit overhyped. It's definitely a bit overhyped overall. I think, for the most part, it's the Frozen vibes to me. It's like visually, it's not. Visually, it's great. Story-wise, it's good. Music's fine, but like, it's all right. It's nice. It's a good film, but it doesn't. It just overhyped overall. It was a very
it was. It was really super overhyped, but going into the Oscars, most likely it will be that. I would have said personally myself, because it took me a while to go back and forth with it. I would have gone, the Mitchells versus the Machines, only because of like The last time the studio won was with Spider-Man.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse. And here, like I said, and also looked at the Annie Awards. For a lot of people who don't know what that is, Annie Awards are pretty much the Oscars for animation. Overall of all animation in film itself, pretty much in the industry. And they won for best animated film overall. And I would say them, but looking at the variety vote, the favorite vote, it's most likely going to be Encanto, pretty much, because Luca. I know for those who follow, everybody knows I'm a huge Pixar fan. And I don't think this is this year's Pixar's year, only because Luca was more of that summer fling, that summer popcorn fun, pretty much for the kids, type of film. It was a heartwarming film, but it wasn't strong enough to say, hey, this deserves a win for an Oscar. Because they always do a great job storytelling wise. I see them dominating though next year. Next year I see Pixar coming out with a win, depending on how the rest of this year goes. But in my personal opinion, yeah, it's gonna most likely be Encanto, because Raya was again one of those. It was good, but not good enough. It was a good story. They had a strong. You saw where they're going with it. It was something original, something different, and they did a good job. But like I said, I think it's gonna go down, like you said, the fan favorite right now, the one that's being overhyped the most right now, which is Encanto.
Honestly, I'm going to go. Yeah, I'm just going to go with Mitchell's vs. Machines.
You're gonna try to go with the dark horse. This would be to see if that's gonna be the one that's gonna be the surprise.
Yeah, it's nothing against Encanto. Like I said, it's a good film. Luca's a good film. What I've seen of Raya and the Last Dragon, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I thought there was a lot more. Of all of them, I think the one that had the most heart was Mitchell's vs. Machines.
Yeah, that one did, honestly.
I didn't write that on the notes because this was a movie I saw like
a long time ago.
This was the first Oscar-nominated film I saw.
Yeah, overall.
Months ago.
Yeah. But that's so you're going with the Mitchell's vs. the Machines?
Yeah, I was gonna continue.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I think it's amazingly animated. It's like if you enjoy the animation style from Into the Spider-Verse, it borrows heavily upon that. There's also I just love the connection they had with the father trying to do one last road trip because he's gonna lose his daughter. The connection
with his daughter, yeah. And it was one of those films where remember how I always used to say, if it makes me cry, that means it's a good fucking movie. And it had me cry, especially with me having my daughter. It's
not only very heartfelt, but it's like it does have a lot of solid laughs to it, like actual laugh out loud laughs. Yeah. And it's just a generally funny story about robots trying to take over the world.
And it's just this family trying to literally come together while doing it.
Yeah, and it's just, I really enjoy it. I really just had a really good time with it overall. I liked Encanto, I liked Luca, I did Fleet, and Bates and Raya. But I really enjoyed Mitchell's vs. Machines most out of all the picks. So I'm just gonna go with Mitchell's vs. Machines.
All right, so Mitchell and the Machines for that one for Kristen. Next category we're gonna dive into here is Best Cinematography.
Now, what is cinematography, Christopher?
Just the way the camera is angled, the way you use the camera at your disposal, the way you edit it and bring it in, pretty much, not film editing, but just mainly, how you move the camera, how the camera flows and everything throughout the scenes, and the way that disperses itself. But that's what cinematography is. I'm not gonna do that for every single freaking category, just to let you know.
No, I only ever have you do it for cinematography because sometimes not people know what cinematography actually means.
And now that it's like, I think last year they're doing the same thing, which is now they're condensing some of them now because of certain categories. Whereas like we don't have to dive too deep into one little category when it comes to it. But
do you want to start?
Let's start with like I said, best cinematography for the nominees are Nightmare Alley,
Dune,
The Power of the Dog,
The Tragedy of Macbeth,
West Side Story.
So the only one I hadn't seen of these is Tragedy of Macbeth. I know you've seen at least 3 of these.
Yeah, I've seen 1, 2, 3 of them. Yeah, I haven't seen The Power of the Dog or Tragedy of Macbeth.
I'm gonna be honest. All these, I haven't. We've only seen the trailer for Tragedy of Macbeth. But we already know it comes from a Cohen, so they already know how to work a camera really good.
Yeah.
Especially for something like freaking Macbeth. Let's see. Nightmare Alley's good, but it's definitely just pretty much a noir film. So
yeah, that's all it is.
The cinematography is definitely Del Toro style, but it's its own. It's a rather unique film. Just
overall itself for the storytelling.
It's just very standard Del Toro style cinematography. Nothing unique about it. It's his first jab at a noir film, so and it's an adaptation. It's a second adaptation of a book from the 40s.
Yeah.
Dune. Yeah, Dune was Dune for me. Power Dog had really good cinematography. I'm gonna admit that. That just a lot of the visuals and the camera work were very well done there.
Yeah.
And West Side Story was, we were discussing this before we even started, which was that had really good cinematography overall. You know what's funny? I'm gonna bring this up now. What's funny is usually I'm really prepared for these. I am not.
That's right. So again, like I had said in the beginning, is that normally we are prepared, and this is the first time ever in these past years since we've done this for Oscar predictions where we're like maybe 50% prepared for our predictions of like what we're diving into.
One thing that made West Side Story cinematography unique is Spielberg definitely aimed for more of a
grittier type.
No, not grittier. I wouldn't say grittier. Probably Dune, because that had a lot of sand in it. What I mean is, what was interesting about Spielberg's interpretation of West Side Story, and we discussed this before with our father, is that it felt like you're watching a Broadway production. Now, I know, like, you can there's a bunch of other films.
Compared to the original felt like you were watching a Broadway version of it. Compared to this one felt more of, okay, we're literally, like, in the streets, we're in the gutters, we're in, like, everywhere. Go ahead.
Flip it. The original definitely felt like, hey, this is where we're actually try to make it more real. Here, there's definitely a sense you don't really see it until like you get a lot of the indoor like scenes and stuff like that, where you can tell like the colors pop out more. Yeah. There's a lot of visual, like amazing visual cues, like the lights are brighter, that's the stage and you're the crowd watching. Yeah. There's a lot of indoor shots. That's why go ahead, finish. Go ahead. Outdoor, you don't really get that vibe till like closer to the end of the film, but like it's still there where you definitely get that vibe of Spielberg really wanted to make this a Broadway theater experience, but not having to leave the theater.
And that's where I totally disagree. I think it really feels like the way if you look at a lot of musicals are being done lately, especially perfect examples like even In the Heights and all these other films that are diving into the Broadway musical type of aspect. I look back at West Side Story, I look back the original film, that one really felt like, okay, that's set on the stage, I could tell that's a stage, it feels like it's a full-on stage and everything. This really helped us kind of like get into the actual city. It felt like in the city, like even like the America song. The original, it was all set up on a rooftop because they were limited what they could do. Here, it's like we started off like from literally like within the apartment down into the streets. We're moving about and everything through the city itself as she's singing this song and stuff like that. We're moving through the city, and that's why I'm like, it really felt like the original was more of a Broadway. Like it felt like it was more Broadway than this did. This was more giving us like a better picture, a better backstory of like why they're doing this, why the city's like this, why everybody's acting like this or this or that, and this he really wanted to bring it more to life. He wanted to breathe more life into it than what the original did. The original is still going to be a wonderful watch no matter what. But like I said, that's what he did with this, and that's why I say that's where the opposite comes in. Like I said, I think it's the other way around. Just the way if you look back at some of these musical films that are coming out, they're trying to help you give that sense of like you're in the neighborhood, you're here, you're there, and stuff like that. And it's really helping evolve film musically as well. And that's how I see it. That's me personally. That's why for this category, I'm stuck between two films, and that's between West Side Story and Dune. And the reason I say that is because I love West Side Story. I've heard so many great things about it from like the camera movements where I've been watching a lot of students even going, look at this camera movement Spielberg does. It's just so fantastic. And the way he moves through the crowd and stuff like that is fantastic. And
best thing I say about Power of the Dog, I don't want to...
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that it is very visually, like, striking. Like, it's definitely one of those... It's one of those westerns that just uses the landscape around it to really convey its story. And that's what it does here. Whether it's... I swear to God, this is true. God, be my witness. Whether it's Benedict Cumberbatch taking a naked mud bath in the middle of a lake in the middle of nowhere, or just enjoying the environment around him, the way it was shot, the way you can just tell he's at peace until like some asshole shows up.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of really good shots in this overall. It's fucking, oh my God, it's fucking dark. It's a darker film than I thought it was gonna be, but like, yeah, I think that is very well done. Well, that's done very well as well. Ugh, God, I hate saying that like that. There's a lot of good scenes. Like there's one good scene where like Benedict Cumberbatch's brother, played by Jesse Plemons, is sitting in the dining room of this restaurant, pretty much, and like Benedict Cumberbatch's group showed up. They were just complete assholes to Kirsten Dunst's character, to her son. And, like, he's just sitting there, and you can hear her crying. You don't see her, but it just builds up to just her you can hear her slowly start crying, and you don't... What's great is you don't need to see her to know, like, what she went through in a previous scene. You don't.
Yeah.
It's really well shot, and it does get to a point where eventually she like, Jesse Plemons does go ask if she's okay. It does feel like there's a general sense of he's actually being generally honest and sincere about everything.
Okay.
I think it's well shot. And I said some things about Nightmare Alleys, but I still think it's very visually striking. I think
that was more visual. Yeah, that one is just more of like it's just striking. That's it. There's no special camera movements or anything like that.
Even though I said it's standard Del Toro cinematography,
the story is still strong. Go ahead.
I'll get to that when we talk best pictures. But like, it's still Del Toro cinematography, which is still good cinematography.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to go with West Side Story. Honestly, I thought it was a good film. I'm not personally a fan of musicals. I thought it was a good film overall. But the cinematography is one of the key things I did really enjoy about the film.
I'm gonna have to go with Dune. The only reason I say that is because I think this year, just like perfect examples, the video game awards, when it was between God of War and Red Dead Redemption 2, and what was it? Red Dead took a lot of technicality awards, but then God of War won the big main one overall. And I think that's what Dune's going to do with this here. They're going to win a lot of technicality awards, a lot of technical ones, and I think I'm going to give it to Dune pretty much because the cinematography was beautiful. It was like you said with the Power of the Dog, like you said, where it's like you had the landscape. They did the same thing here, where it's like they really show the landscape of like the expanse of like this massive desert they're in, and what they're dealing with whether it's the sandworms or the ships that are, just everything that's going on around them. It just really dives into it, and I would have to go with Dune. Like I said, I think Dune's going to take home a lot of technical awards because they wanted to make sure it was visually pleasing to everybody, to what they wanted, in Dune, pretty much, of bring this sci-fi classic to life.
Yes, it was a lot of sand.
Yes, it was a lot of sand, but like I said, that's what I'm giving it to. So our next one we dive into is Best Original Screenplay.
That means somebody did not come up with it.
It's an original idea.
They didn't plagiarize it.
Original idea, not from something else, because that's on our next one, but it's an original idea, original storytelling.
Wait, are there really 6 nominees?
Oh
no, you accidentally didn't space Best Adapted.
Yeah, that's why.
But I was about to say, I was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Like, I thought I was about to give more opinions on that.
But, alright, so our nominees are Don't Look Up,
Belfast,
Licorice Pizza,
The Worst Person in the World,
and King Richard.
Yes, so me and Bert only saw 2 films together out of the Oscar list. One being Belfast, the other being Licorice Pizza. So, So Don't Look Up can best be described as what if Adam McKay, the guy behind Vice, just did a Roland Emmerich film. Basically a political satire, Roland Emmerich's kind of film. Pretty much. The end of the world is not... What's great about it is that it is satirical in its take on it. Because, Roland Emmerich films like, some people die, but hey, look, Earth lived. And this... No, it's one of those...
Everyone says the same thing like he told me, which is the first, half hour is cringeworthy, and then after that, if you get past that first 30 minutes, then it's like, okay, now you can try to get through the rest of it.
I think it's very... the reason I'm not going to pick it is because I feel like it's too on the nose. I get what they're trying to do. This is not just a message about, what our governments are doing right now. I swear to God, I try not to get political on this.
But go ahead anyways, though.
But basically, this is basically a very on the nose
a satire
about what governments are doing to help save our Earth, basically.
Exactly.
That's all it really is. You may think it's like a Roland Emmerich film where all they're going to say to women, spoiler alert, they don't.
Nah. Mind you, it's not a Roland Emmerich film, so.
Yeah. Did you see Don't Look Up?
No, I haven't seen it yet. That's what I said. The only three I've seen from these are Belfast, Licorice Pizza, and King Richard. I haven't seen The Worst Person in the World or Don't Look Up.
Yeah, it's seriously the sheer cringeworthiness of the first 20 or 30 minutes. I think if you get past that, it's a very good movie, and you watch it and you go, you know what? Some of the stuff they're talking about, they're not exactly wrong. About how the government would take it, how social media would react to it, how long it would take us to really realize the situation going on, and us finally acting on what we should be doing. I'll give it that, but I feel it's just a bit too on the nose for me on that front. I think it's clever, but So what was the next one?
Belfast. That one, we have to admit, that was
that one is technically inspired by a true story. It's inspired by what's called the Troubles. Basically, as we saw in the film, pretty much a religious war between Catholics and Protestants.
Yeah, it's just pretty much it's more of a remembrance type of thing for those who had to go through it, who went through it, who actually escaped for it, overall. Yeah.
It's interesting because it's technically, while it does show how, people did survive this and moved on, it actually also at the same time, it's kind of a coming of age story about this kid whose father's always away on work, and the only people he has to spend time with is either family, relatives, or friends in the neighborhood. Because it's one of those neighborhoods where, what's the term? Where it's like Cheers, where everybody knows your name.
Yeah, that's what it is. They live in a neighborhood where pretty much, everybody knows each other pretty much. The families know each other. Everybody knows each other in that neighborhood, overall. Yeah, and it's just weird how by the end of it, I look online, it's this is based off a true story, but technically this is a family this is a fictional family living in this real thing that happened. Yeah, exactly. And they were able to win. They were able to successfully survive all of this, and there's this kid who's just trying to figure out life, aside from priests yelling at him in church. It's just a kid pretty much trying to understand the real world around him, while at the same time still trying to be a kid and flirt with a girl and things like that. And then, that's all it really is. He's just trying to figure out life, and you have all this crap going around him, and it's a cute story. It's a very adorable story, where this family, comes together, and they're trying to stay strong, especially the father. When the father's not there majority of the time, he's usually out of country for work. He's usually out of the country, and so usually up to the mom. That's why one of my favorite scenes is that it got me a little bit choked up too, because I'm the way he literally looked at his wife and going, thank you for raising my kid. What are you talking about? It's I'm working majority of the time. You're the one here all the time raising our son. And that's the cool thing about big do about the screenplay is that it understands that this family isn't perfect. Especially the father. Yeah. The father is clearly not there. The father,
he's doing his best. He's working his hardest.
Yeah.
Just to provide.
He's
for
gone
him.
for I think they said every 2 weeks he's gone.
Every few weeks, perhaps even longer.
It's usually about every certain amount of few weeks or so, but he's gone, and then he just has to, he comes back for I think a weekend or so, and he go to a film and stuff like that. Even when he did the film, it's like, which is cool, is like that's when they added the color to it, the aspect to the color, to give that sense of ooh.
Well, screenplay wise, I think it's still a good story.
Yeah.
I think it's wonderfully told and weaves in the story of the trouble as well, to where it's not just hitting you over the head with it. There are a couple scenes where it's definitely obviously major, like the biological scene, pretty much.
Yeah.
The biological scene where his father faced off against the guy who's telling him he should join them in the fight.
Yeah, it's a thing where when they it's a type of thing where it's like they get was it the mother and the daughter? Was it a mother? Was it her son and his son's friend, female friend, who got him stuck in the middle of this all, gets stuck in the middle of this massive riot. And next you know, it's like it's like this, like you said, the showdown of just how serious this really is. Just trying to protect his family.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a wonderfully weaved. It's like a great original story weaved within actual real life events, and it gets done very well.
Yeah.
We got Licorice Pizza, which is fresh because we just before this recording we saw a few hours.
Licorice
ago.
Pizza, I have to admit, it's just awesome. It's just an amazing. To me, I love the.
It's it's good. It's basically, what if we took Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and instead of making it about two guys just trying to survive in Hollywood, let's instead make it about a young adult, just
two young adults,
a romantic story.
Kind of like a romantic story of just two people trying to find a way to get out. Whether it's because of family or this or that, just trying to find their way in the world. And they keep bumping heads back and forth. That love-hate relationship.
Yeah, they're learning to grow up in their own different ways. One is trying to learn to be more of what has always been stereotyped as a kid because of the way she looks, even though she's 25.
Yeah.
And she's just trying to get out there to.
Well, it's the other way, because remember he's the one who he looks older than his age.
Sorry, let me. I phrased it wrong. So basically, you have the girl who's 25. Is trying to do something more for life, while at the same time he's only 15. But because of how old he
looks much older than what his age brings up.
He's trying to. I just thought about this. He's trying to rush, trying to be older. You know,
rush to being an adult, pretty much
because of his age. Because by the time the movie ends, he's only 16?
I don't know. I don't know the time frame between these films, but
I think it's well done. It's. The trailer made it really believe it was going to be a very Hollywood actor focused thing, and they do show up, but they're not.
The first half of the film, you're sitting there going, okay, this is really weird, but the second half is when the second half really kicks it off. The second half is it brings up going, wait, what, type of situation, and I love it, and even we had so many cameos in this that even by the end of it, it's like you're sitting there going, wait, they were in this, so many smaller people that you probably know of or maybe they're related to. It's like, you're like, wow, this is just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a very well done take on a period piece romance, or a young adult romance.
We're going to skip the worst person in the world, even though we've heard phenomenal things about it. We've heard so many great things of the story itself, but we didn't get a chance to watch it ourselves.
How is King Richard best original?
It's original. It's not actually based on a book or anything like that.
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
It's pretty much, we got King Richard, and just a story of pretty much just a father pretty much doing whatever it took to get his daughters where he saw them being.
I thought it was a good film.
I thought it was good.
I know it was good screenplay, but I don't know. Honestly, what was lacking in that one was more time with Serena Williams, because they don't really tackle what she overall thought about Venus being the main focus for a while in her father's eyes.
But it was approved by Venus and Serena themselves.
Look, I'm not fronting. I'm not fronting on what decisions they made for the screenplay.
Well, it's not even that. It's the type of thing where it's like, this is how the story was, pretty much. It's like I think if you want to dive deeper into what you had wanted, it would have been a much longer film, because it's like, okay, we have to stretch out a little bit longer so we get her little piece in. But I think it's just overall what they both accomplished overall as together. Even though it's like by the end of it we were focusing on one of them, it was just showing what they accomplished together. You know what they were trying to do, trying to push forward, and it was a good story. Like I said, it wasn't a strong enough story. I do have to agree with that, but it was still good. What really helped carry the story was just Will Smith's performance, which we'll get to later down. But yeah, I think it's my turn to choose the first one, or my
Go
pick,
ahead.
or
yeah, I chose the last one first.
I'm gonna have to give it to Licorice Pizza. And the reason I say that is only because it's such an original idea where you grab these two people that are just, they have that love-hate relationship towards each other.
And what's sorry, I'm sorry, Rob. What I love so clever about it is that every time you think, oh, cool, this is the end of the story, one of them says something, an open mouth, insert foot.
Yeah, and that's what I love about it. It's like, just when they have that close moment, that it's like, it's always the guy. It's always, the guy's name was Gary.
Yeah.
It's like, it was always Gary who said the wrong thing, and it's like, and he ruined the moment. But somehow they come back together. They keep bouncing back forth.
Because that's how it works.
In a relationship,
It's not like one and done. It takes time. It takes building.
And that's what this did.
By the end of it is when they both realize they do really love each other.
They do love each other. They do have that love for one another. And just the way, just their adventure and where they went through together, it's like so fascinating. Even when they were separated for a little bit of time, when she was just trying to find her own path to better the world.
Plus, gave me my favorite line of this all. What kind of dick do you have?
Exactly. It's like, wait, what did she just say?
I do really enjoy the film. I know I'm going to go with you on. I just want to go with you on Licorice Pizza for best original screenplay.
Yeah, I have to agree because it was just amazingly done well, and just the people that are attached to this were fantastic, man. I just loved it overall. So next one we dive into is best adapted screenplay. Whether, of course, it's based off a podcast, an actual story, a book, a newspaper clipping, based on something. That's what we're diving into here. And the nominees are The Lost Daughter,
Dune,
Drive My Car,
The Power of the Dog,
Coda.
Okay, so I know Lost Daughter. I believe Lost Daughter is based off a book.
Mm-hmm.
Dune, obviously based off a book.
Yeah.
Drive My Car. I haven't recalled it was based off of anything. I guess it was. Power of the Dog, I believe, was based off a book as well. And what was the last one? Coda. That's a remake of a French film of the same name.
Mm-hmm.
I believe based off a book too. A lot of them based off of books. I think all of them are based off books. But anyways, goddamn, I should have written down these adapted. So we have, let's see,
Lost Daughter.
Okay, so
out of all of them, to let you know, I've only seen Dune, Drive My Car, and that's it. I've only seen 2 of these films.
I've seen all 5. I did not know Drive My Car was nominated for Best Adapted.
Yeah, because it was based off a book.
But okay, so Lost Daughter, it's good. It's a good film. It's the only non-best or best picture or best anime I watched. I don't know why. I know it was on Netflix and I had to put something on the background while I cooked dinner. I honestly think that Lost Daughter is fine. The story is basically a woman is going on vacation alone, enjoying her time, and runs into a big family that's there on vacation as well, and like they have a young kid there, and she starts having flashbacks to when she was taking care of her 2 daughters, and she starts having like these, I would say, PTSD moments where she realizes she was abusive to them growing up, even to a point where we even find out, I guess spoilers, is that she even got to a point where she became unfaithful to her own family overall. Not even just cheating on her guy, but she left for like years on end. And it all wrapped up around this premise in the present day where the young family loses the daughter. Luckily, Olivia Colman's character finds her, but then eventually she loses the doll, and for some reason she doesn't want to give the doll back.
Yeah.
Because of what she's suffering in the back of her mind and stuff. And it basically boils down to you have to accept the fact you're like no parent is perfect, and it's not until the end of the film where she. End of the film where she realizes that. Yeah. When she finally hears back, because throughout the film she's trying to call one of her their grown-up daughters, but none of them are answering and stuff. So she's having the
flashbacks. I know. I understand.
I'll admit it's a clever premise. It's showing that no parent is perfect. Nobody can really judge themselves as a parent just off of the early days being a parent, but it's overall looking at it where you realize you were a very good parent.
Interesting. Now I
found it boring.
He found it boring. Okay. Dune pretty much is just, of course, is being based off the actual book itself. Really pretty much, considered one of the best, up there on the list of best sci-fi books overall. Of the same name, and we only got it. I think the last time we got it was many years ago. We only got it. Was it one film out of it? I think it was a film or something like that.
I don't want to get into how many adaptations.
I forgot how many adaptations they've done of this, but this one they're diving deeper into it overall.
I think this is a very well done adaptation. I think it's about as best you're gonna get for somebody adapting this iconic book.
Yeah.
My biggest problem, and I'll probably bring up again Best Picture, it ends abruptly because they have to make it 3 parts.
They have to. It's like you have to understand they have to.
It's well done. The screenplay's well done, but I have to wait about another year or 2 to get part 2.
Which, and I don't mind
the
that.
story isn't complete. That's the problem I have with even suggesting.
Because it's all based off of everything. They think it's all one book or multiple books.
One very big book.
Yeah, one very big book. So it's like they had no other choice. Because even I'm sitting there going, how really are you gonna end it? Because you have to move on to the story. So it's like you have to. Okay, they're moving on. All right, that's how we end the story until we come back to them later to see what they're up to now. What's going on next. Drive My Car. I've watched
low-key the best film that nobody really watched last year is Drive My Car. It is fucking good. I didn't see a trailer for this. I read a vague premise HBO Max gave me on this.
It's based on a book entitled Men Without Women. If I'm correct, that's if I'm correct. Translated, Men Without Women. That's what, and then he's decided to retitle it for the film called Drive My Car.
Yeah, you can kind of see why they call it that, but it's a good film. It's a really good film.
It's solid.
It's the basic premise is that a Broadway movie producer is directing a play outside of town. And this is set 2 years after his wife has died. Yeah. Also, and
mind you, look how long it took to even get to the actual intro when he started bringing the credits.
I was like, Drive My Car, 35 to 40 minutes in. I'm like,
wait,
what?
I had to stop. And wait, did I already finish the film already? I'm like, is that it? Because I'm seeing the credits. I'm like, oh shit, this is literally the intro. We were just watching a prologue leading into the actual main film itself, what we're getting into. It's just and that's what we're having. It's just we're diving into mainly the story. But
so honestly, it's because there's a lot of movies about dealing with death,
and the way this handles it does it in a unique way.
I think it's a very unique and an interesting way it takes it, because this is not a guy who mourns and moves on. We find out 2 years later he hasn't really confronted the issue.
Yeah, he hasn't really. It's the type of thing where it's still within him, but it's like he has his own coping mechanism that he gets through.
But not only is he confronted by it by the lead actor in his play being the woman last person his wife cheated on, but also his driver, who's gone through not the exact same loss, but gone through a very
similar type of loss.
Gone through a similar loss of a loved one as well.
Exactly.
So he's inadvertently confronted with this, whether it's those two, whether it's
we're seeing how by the end of it how he copes with it all. How it's like how he finally lets go of it. Finally, with everything. And it's like a beautiful story. It's really done well.
It Yeah, it doesn't.
If you haven't checked it out, again, check it out. It's on HBO Max.
It doesn't hit yourself over the head with his feelings. It's not even until like the last 20 minutes of the film where he finally confronts the loss of his wife.
He's like, he lets go, realizing I wanted her dead. In a way, it's like it's like how you want your mother dead. It's like I wanted her dead,
Yeah, and it's such a great way, and it's such a nice build up to it because you don't know when he's gonna crack because he's still calm, he's still composed.
Yeah, he keeps calm and composed throughout the whole film.
Like the first time he's generally shocked by something is when his the lead is spoilers, minor spoilers for us is when. Because his wife...
The lead actor.
Because his wife, it turns out, after loss of her daughter, anytime they had sex, she would come up with unique stories
That's how she came up with her stories.
And she came up with one story, and he thought he knew the ending.
Yeah,
but in actuality...
Yeah, there was more to it when he meets the lead actor.
The lead actor tells him the rest of the story, and for the first time... He's generally taken aback by his wife.
Yeah, of how she finished the story.
Because there are revelations we were surprised he already knows about and stuff like that. And this doesn't phase him. It's this that finally phases him.
Yes.
And this is where I think the movie tackles it very well from that point on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the last two, pretty much, this is all him. Because I have not seen the last two.
Power of the Dog. Fuck. So
I hear nothing but phenomenal things about Power of the Dog.
It's a very expect the unexpected kind of storytelling. You generally do get the premise from a trailer. Basically, this hard-nosed cowboy's not so bright younger brother marries this girl from in town who has her own son. Their husband passed away, and he takes her in and stuff like that. Of course. Oh my god, Benedict Cumberbatch's character does not like them at all, especially the wife. And he fucking unintentionally or intentionally tortures this woman. Yeah. Like, you don't really realize to the end of it, like, how much of a dick he is. But at the same time, you kind of understand, like, he's still a douchebag throughout.
You understand why he's a douchebag. He's still
a douchebag. But it's not until the end you realize, like, there is something wrong with this man. Yeah, exactly. Like, you find out, like, he's actually Harvard smart. At one point, you find out he's actually a very intelligent man. Yeah. You find out, for some reason, he rejected that.
Again, spoilers for me as well.
For reasons I won't get into, because those are major spoilers. Yeah, I know, those reasons are major spoilers, but it's not until... he meets, Cody Smith, I apologize if I say this wrong, Cody Smith Vafee's character, Kirsten Dunst's son in this. Yeah. Where, like...
It takes off,
but what I like about this movie is, in not the way you think it's going to go. Okay. Which I think is clever for that. Yeah. Oh, CODA. CODA stands for Child of Deaf Adults. Story is basically a girl is the only person in her family who's not deaf. Her family runs a fishing boat. Her older brother and her father run a fishing boat. Her parents are uber horny a lot. It's a very, honestly, I was generally surprised. Out of all the coming of age films I saw, this was my favorite of all of the ones I had to see. And it's a nice flip on the drama. Because for one thing, you have to watch this film with subtitles. I do not stress this enough. There are a lot of...
shit. The way you just described
I want to reiterate that because that's what makes the biggest bright point about this film.
Yeah, I know.
I'm telling the audience too. I'm
pretty sure they know too.
I'm not just telling you. I've already told you this a couple times. I'm pretty sure they know as well. But it's a really well done coming of age film where it's not just what I love about it. It's not just a struggle of the one hearing daughter of this family trying to get out of her family's shadow, but at the same time, she has this anchor to her because she's the only one in this town who really can speak their language in this case, and she's confronted with a choice of like going onward to college or staying because her family really needs her because there's nobody else in town who really can get her family. Yeah. Like, And it's just really done very well. Like, she's an aspiring singer. There's great moments with that with her family.
Yeah.
The ending's great. I won't spoil this, but there's an actor that me and Dad personally love. He's been in a bunch of stuff, but doesn't get the recognition he deserves.
Okay.
He's in this film, and I think he does a great job as well. Mm-hmm. It's a really well done film. Like I said, it's a remake of a French film.
Yeah.
But it's very well done. It's a really solid. It's like one of the best coming of age.
So, out of the nominees that we have, pretty much, which one do you choose for this one?
Man, this is difficult because I think, well, no, I don't think Dune deserves it because, like I said, it's an unfinished story.
Yeah, it's still not fully completed.
It's good. Denis Villeneuve fits this franchise, but it's not
done yet. Yeah.
It's not done yet. I can't give it to something that is not done yet. Like I said, Lost Daughter, I would have to say, like I said, the screenplay. It is unique how they take the concept of being a better parent.
It feels like it's like it,
but that's the only part.
Drags out.
I enjoyed about it was seeing the flashbacks. Everything else was meant to me on that. Drive My Car is really fucking good.
So what do you have it down between right now?
Drive My Car and Power the Dog. Because like Power Dog, I was not expecting it to go the way it did by the end of it. And Drive My Car just because of how well they told a story that we've heard a million times before.
Yeah.
About like having to deal with loss.
Mm-hmm. So who do you choose?
I'll go with Drive My Car because fuck it, why not?
I'm gonna go pretty much because like I said, I've been hearing nothing but phenomenal things for it. But I'm gonna go with Power of the Dog because I just hear, just like what you stated pretty much, it's like I hear great things about it and just things that are just like you have to watch it. It's definitely just
you have to let me know whenever you finish watching. I know you're probably not gonna get too far, but watch Power Dog and by the end of it, you're gonna go, what the fuck was that? You're gonna tell me what the fuck was that? Because like by the end, I'm like, yeah, is that it? Oh boy.
Now we dive into our first part. Well, kind of our first part, diving into more of the actors in this pretty much these categories, and that is for Best Supporting Actress. Our nominees are Kirsten Dunst, The Power of the Dog;
Ariana DeBose, West Side Story;
Jessie Buckley, The Lost Daughter.
Who the fuck is she playing Lost Daughter? I apologize if I screw this up. Wanyu Ellis, King Richard.
And Judi Dench, Belfast.
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. Judi Dench was fine in Belfast.
She was okay.
I don't think she was bad. I think she was just there.
Yeah.
Because it's Judi Dench. It's Dame Judi Dench, you know? Like, I'm gonna have to look at a couple of these names. Did you have any other ones?
The only two I don't know of, because again, I haven't seen the film, is of course The Power of the Dog and The Lost Daughter. I've seen all the others.
Because I think we're both gonna stop at the same person we think is gonna win this. So we're gonna Kirsten Dunst. She plays the role well. So basically, she's one of the top performances in the film. Her and Benedict Cumberbatch are the best performances of the film. And this is a woman who's so fragile, and Kirsten Dunst plays that fragility beautifully. This is a woman who's borderline tipping over the scale of one thing. Remember how I told you, like, there are a lot of films where Benedict Cumberbatch just basically
I know that.
her?
Yeah, I know that.
She plays that torture well. Like, he does one cruel thing, it's Humpty Dumpty falling off the wall, you know, kind of like breaking her. And she plays that so very well. So very, very well. I think she does a good job in that. So Jessie Buckley, I gotta look up who Jessie Buckley is. Because, like I said, I did.
Ariana DeBose, pretty much, she may more or less pretty much played the friend of Maria, pretty much. The one that was like, you know, was it her brother's girlfriend, pretty much.
Yes,
that's what it was.
I'll get to her actually in a sec. Go on.
Where I'm going to dive into her, dive into pretty much her character, and I think her character is phenomenal. The way she delivers the performance, the way she really brings it out of like just that mood that
she played. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Just the way she played, that powerful friend, but just the other side of like, hey, take it easy, this or that, or this or that. It wasn't until like by the end of the film, it was like you really got more of a powerful performance from her. Just that person that's just trying to get through this, trying to stay away from a lot of this, especially keep was it Maria out of a lot of this.
Her last scene with the Jets.
And just that, that's what I said. It's like that's when it really kicks in, is when her boyfriend's death happens. It's like we really get to see more of like what she's delivering, in this performance. Is she does a phenomenal job.
She is a standout.
She's a standout pretty much. And like I said, it's like once that death happens, she just brings it all out. And like I said, that scene alone where she's in the middle of that shop with the Jets, and she literally just brings it out.
Okay, so Jessie Buckley plays the young version of Olivia Colman's character in the flashbacks.
Okay, all right.
I think she does a good job. If you vision the most fragile mother in the world and put a cherry on top, and that's what Jessie Buckley's playing. I think she's actually one of the better performances of the entire film, in my opinion. I think Olivia Colman does a good job. I think Olivia Colman and Jessie Buckley are like the best performances of the movie.
Yeah.
And like I think Jessie Buckley does a good job of a woman just frazzled. Her kids, she loves them. But good Lord, she wishes they were 6 feet under.
Yeah.
Hand to God, she wishes they were 6 feet under. And I think Jessie Buckley performs that admirably in the film.
Next one is Eunjun Ellis. She played the mother.
Oh my God, the mother was good in that.
Yeah.
I think her standout part was the kitchen scene near the end of the film, where she gets on his case about Richard's case about all of his other kids, about what he's putting Serena and Venus through.
Yeah, exactly.
I think she was one of the aside from Will Smith, she was the other standout performance of that film.
And then the next one we have here is Judi Dench. Like we said, we didn't get much from her in this one.
Yeah, she played the young kid's grandmother. Yeah, and she did good for what she was in. She did good, and not much to say on her that.
Yeah, but
it's obviously Ariana DeBose. I'm sorry.
She's to me from what we see here, from these performances and stuff like that. I think she stand out. She stood out in that whole film pretty much. As the friend, and like I said, what really kicked it off was after her boyfriend's death. Is what really kind of really launched her into what she can really do as an actress. And like I said, this was her breakout. This easily was her breakout performance as Anita. I think she did great. I think she was able to convey both sides of the character beautifully. The one who's proud to be living in a place where she can be whatever she wants, but at the same time being a woman stricken with grief, not only over the loss of her boyfriend, but also the loss of her love for the country she thought she would love forever. Yeah, exactly.
But honestly, Ariana DeBose, hands down.
Yeah, I think hands down that's what it's gonna be for me as well. So that's our choice for that one for Best Supporting Actress. Next one we dive into now is Best Supporting Actor.
Acting! Sorry.
Yes, acting. Our nominees are Troy Kotsur, Coda.
Cody Smith McPhee, The Power of the Dog.
J.K. Simmons, Being the Ricardos.
Ciarán Hinds Belfast.
Jesse Plemons, The Power of the Dog.
Yes. So, Troy Kotsur. God damn, I gotta look up a lot of these.
You know, right? This is C pretty much.
Okay, it's the one. It's the guy that played the father in Coda.
Okay.
Honestly, he was not only hilarious in the film, but I also thought he was amazing in his dramatic scenes as well. I can't really spoil anything, but it's a really great scene between him and his daughter near the end. That's very touching. It's like one of the most. It's the most standout moment in the entire movie. He conveys it so well, and he does a great job. I think he does a really good job of playing not only this this fun, loving father and amazing husband to his wife, but this father who understands that his daughter wants to do so much more for life, even at the cost of relying on her so much to get them by day after day. Yeah. Ever since she was a little kid. I think he did a great job in that.
Yeah. Our next one is Cody Smith McPhee, Power of the Dog.
Yes. Fucking hell. The kid's a little psychopath. There you go. That's basically it.
What? Psychopath. Sorry, go ahead.
No, not like that, but like, he does good. I mean, he's one of those, like, you really don't see what he's capable of till like later in the film. And he does good, but not much to say on that one. I think he conveys this don't judge a book by its cover style very well for his character, and I'll give him that.
Next, we haven't seen it. We haven't seen this one. That's being the Ricardos with J.K. Simmons. We haven't seen that.
We know it's J.K. Simmons. He probably did a good job.
Next is Ciaran Hinds, Belfast.
He played the grandfather.
Yeah, he played the grandfather. He did a good job.
Oh honestly. My god, I think the grandfather was such a delight.
He was a heartwarming type of guy. He was.
Aside from the kid, and aside from Doreen, what's the actor's? Jamie Dornan. I think he was the other standout performance of the film. I think he was such a delight. Anytime he was with the kid, the advice giving advice about what to do with long division, and stuff like that.
But he's like, he told him, hey, just try to make this number just in case it get confused. Oh yeah, it's that number.
And I think he did a very good job. Honestly, hands down, I think he was one of the key parts I really enjoyed about Belfast.
Yeah. So, and the next one is Jesse Plemons, The Power of the Dog.
Oh god, two people are nominated. Jesse Plemons was basically Jesse Plemons in this film. He was I wouldn't say he had a stand-up performance, but he did play this rather not stupid, but like more simple guy compared to his brother Benedict Cumberbatch in this film, and I think he did a really good job of conveying that. And somebody who you generally believe was just trying to be very heartfelt towards Kirsten Dunst's character. Yeah. Trying to be more than what his brother saw him as. I think he did a good job.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Right now, from word of mouth, what I've been hearing all over the place myself, right now it's stuck between two people. And right now, a lot of people have between Troy Kotsur and Cody Smith McPhee. A lot of people are saying it's like a lot of them are stuck between those two. And I'm
going to go with Troy Kotsur. Honestly, because I found him to be such a delight in that film, and apparently I've seen this actor in so many other things I didn't know about it, but he does such an amazing job in the film. He's a really good dad in that film. I'm
going to go the other way. I'm going to go with Cody Smith McPhee, just to try to, make it a little bit interesting, pretty much, with our scores and see where that goes overall. But I'm going to go with Cody Smith McPhee, just to see how it goes, because like I said, if it's stuck between two, I'll just go with the other. You grab one, I'll grab the other, and we'll see who takes that one overall.
Okay, so what's next?
Next is, I believe, the next big ones that we're hitting. Best Actor.
And numbers are
Andrew Garfield. I can't even spell right there. Andrew Garfield. Tick, Tick, Boom.
Benedict Cumberbatch, The Power of the Dog.
Javier Bardem, Being the Ricardos.
Denzel Washington, The Tragedy of Macbeth.
Will Smith, King Richard.
Now, let's be honest. We're going to go over... I know the two it's going to be, but I know that it's going to be between two, but we're going to go over the other two. So, I think the two it's going to be between is Benedict Cumberbatch and Will Smith. Okay, let's talk about the others. Let's talk about the others, see if we can convince ourselves otherwise.
Yeah.
So, who we have up next?
The first one up here that's on it is Andrew Garfield.
Okay, so you saw Tick, Tick, Boom. I saw bits and pieces. What did you think of Andrew Garfield?
He had a very powerful performance. He really brought this character to life. He really brought Jonathan, I forgot the last name, but he really did bring it to life, and just the music itself, the way he worked it all together, and just the way he had his performance overall, even the singing bits, he really delivered it. I mean, you had those great funny moments, you had those great, downer moments and stuff like that, but it's like he hit it was like a roller coaster, and he was nailing every single bit of it overall, and I was just like, I was floored. I was just like, wow, he really is just such an amazing actor in his variety overall, and where he can go with it itself, But
so what's the next one?
Next one is is Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh no! Well, I said we're gonna skip the top two. I think it's between Cumberbatch and Will Smith. So next one,
Javier Bardem. We haven't watched Being the Ricardos, so the next one again we haven't watched is Tragedy of Macbeth, where Denzel Washington. So now we're back to
Javier Bardem. Is a good actor. He probably gonna be in Ricardo. Denzel Washington is Denzel Washington. So
now we can start off with Benedict Cumberbatch.
So Benedict Cumberbatch, like I said previously, he definitely plays an asshole, but an asshole, there's a reason why he's an asshole to everybody else.
Yeah.
And you don't actually figure that out till closer to the middle, about roughly the middle of the film is when you really find out about his backstory a bit more. And you can tell he has something to hide, so he puts up this front of just like punching his brother in the arm so much, torturing Kirsten Dunst's character because her and her son are ruining like the flow he had at the farm.
Yeah.
You have him just being a good farmhand to all of his other guys because like they not only look up to him but looked up to his original person who taught him everything. Mm-hmm. I forgot what the guy's name was, but you hear a lot in the film. And I think he does a really good job in that. He does it better. I don't know. I think he overall does it better. Yeah, I think he really improves his American accent. You can tell in this film.
Yeah.
But I think he does a good job in it.
Will Smith.
We've both seen King Richard, right?
Yeah, we've both seen it. And
okay, good.
And that's why, and like I said before, the story may have been not that strong enough, or at least it was good. It was good story. You know.
But easily a standout performance.
The one that helped carry the film overall from beginning to end was Will Smith. What can we say? I mean, he delivered a powerful performance of a man just doing whatever it took to get his daughters, to the top, to get them to where it's like people, that people their age, but also their color can make it in this sport.
His walk, his talk, his demeanor were perfectly executed and definitely heavily
go ahead, sorry.
And definitely heavily, like, he nailed the look and feel of Richard Williams.
He really embodied him, because I saw like a lot of shots where they showed some of the original clips of him, like when he's talking to his, like, don't talk to my daughter like that, she's just a kid, stuff like that. And they showed a split screen where you see him doing that, cutting off the interview and stuff like that, and just the way his mannerisms and everything, he just nailed that to such a T.
Like, you really didn't know what his next plan was going to be.
Yeah.
And you were just confused as to supreme cast around him.
Especially his wife, his own wife.
Oh, when he leaves the first coach, and she is like,
she's pissed off because it's like, next time you need to talk to me about this. It's like, if you want to be a team, we have to talk about this. We have to make sure we're on the same. Don't throw my name in the mix when I haven't even agreed.
Yeah, that's what I love is that you have no idea where his if you've never heard the true story, you don't have any idea what his plan is. And what's great is Will Smith does that beautifully, showcasing that you honestly have no fucking idea where this movie's gonna go next.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, he took his kids out of juniors because he felt like
he wanted to bring them to the pros immediately. And it's just like, they have to build their way up.
Yeah, he only wanted to bring in the pros, but he wanted them to be kids as well. Because that's why he keeps on making that joke about he wants all 10, parents who make their kids go into sports go to hell. Yeah. Because, and they show that a bit too when Venus is competing in the juniors. Yeah. As well. I think honestly, I'm going to have to choose Will Smith.
I think this is his year.
Has Will Smith not won an Oscar?
No, he's been nominated, but he's never won one at all. He's never won one.
I think, honestly, it's going to be between Will Smith and Benedict Cumberbatch. I think it's going to be
between those two, but if I had to choose,
I would choose Will Smith.
It's going to be Will Smith. It's his year. It's his time. This man deserves it. I think he's not become the next Leo, but DiCaprio, but it's one of those things where it's like every time he does a powerful performance, he just edges out by somebody else. And I think this year is his year. I think this is going to be his year. I think Will Smith's he has to take this one. This is the one that's going to kind of solidify his place in acting overall, pretty much in the film industry. You know, he started off as a rap, rap star, and look where he's ended up now and stuff like that. He's come a long way. I think this is his time. This is his moments, and oh man, there we go. That's our choice.
Yeah, we'll see.
Our next one,
Best Actress.
Best Actress. Our nominees are Jessica Chastain, The Eyes of Tammy Faye.
Olivia Colman, The Lost Ark. Now, before you say his next one, it's not Power to Dog. It's Spencer.
It's Kristen Stewart, Spencer.
Penelope Cruz, Madres Paralelas.
That's the one.
Apologies on that.
Yeah, and then Nicole Kidman being the Ricardos.
Yes. So, funny enough, 2 of these women had to go through makeup transformations to play their roles.
But one of them, which is Jessica Chastain, pretty much it damaged her face a little bit because of the makeup.
Okay, so I've seen one of the films.
I only seen one of the films.
Okay, so
the rest of them
talk about your film. I'll talk about my film.
Jessica Chastain, Eyes of Tammy Faye.
You did see Eyes of Tammy Faye.
I did watch that, and wow, she did a great performance. All I can say is that she really brought out this woman that just pretty much was just it started off when she was just a bastard child, and her mom literally kind of literally banished her from the church because like the moment you show your face, I'm gonna be banished from this church and stuff like that. And it's like the moment she stepped in and she started going into gospel and stuff like that, and they're like, she was like trying to get her daughter out, and she was just like, they're like, your daughter is heaven sent. He's like, your daughter pretty much is speaking the word of God and stuff like that. And then we see years later, and we see how she's transformed, with Andrew Garfield, which was another great performance he delivered. But she just delivered, but this wholesome person that was really trying to fit in, that no matter what, like, there were times when it was like, this is a man's world. No, she wanted to be in that man's world. There was a scene where it's like, they were at this like little dinner, like this luncheon with all these, and the men were all staying together, the wives were all staying together, they had their kid. She drags the freaking chair from the mother's table all the way over, and all the guys literally sitting there going, what is she doing? What is she doing? And it's just like she wanted to make sure she fit in, and just that she had that charm that she really brought to her. She was always trying to stay positive about things, no matter what. She was trying to have that positivity of bringing light to the world and bringing everybody to God, to Jesus, stuff like that. And she said her performance was just phenomenal. Just the way she really delivered, just that charm about her, that what really loved her, everybody loved about her. Even when after everything went down and we saw her more into the future, like where she ended up at, it's like she still had that charm about her. And Jessica Chastain just did a phenomenal job just bringing this character to life. And just, man, she just did, like I said, I thought she did a great job overall. Hands down, great job.
Olivia Colman is amazing as always. She won a couple years ago for The Favorite. Here, she's definitely not playing that character. This Olivia Colman is just this woman, like I said before, she's a woman who's gone on vacation on her own, just trying to get away from her all. She doesn't want her daughter's attentions, but like, not really. And you don't know really what is up with her until the whole situation with her family's daughter going missing and stuff like that. That's where we really start diving into, like, you can see it, like, torturing her past, what she did to her kids when she was younger, to what, all that. You can see how she convey. I think Olivia Colman conveys that beautifully. Like, there are some points where, like, there's a scene where, like, she's confronted by the family in a toy store, and they bring up something about her daughters and stuff like that, and the girl's daughter that they found won't shut up, and she's just starting having flashbacks, and she's in like a very dazed, stunned state, and she's just confused, and she just walks out instead, and just can't see in front of her at all, pretty much, and like she knocks down some toys, and There are other times where she's trying to forget the past, push it, and you can tell she's trying to ignore her memories fleeing back and trying to focus on, like, was it William Hurt? No, not William Hurt. Ed Harris's character flirting with her, a younger gentleman who's there during the summer for the resort she's in, being there, flirting with him, just trying to enjoy herself as much as possible. At the same time, you can tell she's trying her best to push everything else out of her mind.
Yeah.
You know, trying to ignore the past with her daughters and stuff. And, you know, of course it comes to a head, and it's done very well when it comes to that point.
Yeah.
I think Olivia Colman conveys that really well.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, we haven't seen the others. Again, we just, with new things starting this year for us, scheduling, like I said, we weren't able to watch all the movies. But those are the ones that, like I said, we were able to watch. Who would you choose in this one?
I don't know.
It's kind of hard because, like I said, I saw one movie, you saw the other film.
I'll go with your pick. I'll go with Jessica Chastain.
I'm going with Jessica Chastain as well because she just delivered a phenomenal performance in this, and you know, I mean, like I said, I think she did like I said, if you ever do get a chance to watch it, you'll see what I mean, because it's like she delivers such a great performance as, you know, as Tammy Faye, and brings it to life in such a great way. So our next nomination, which is pretty much going to lead also into the main one, because usually they usually are connected sometime, majority of the time, and that is for Best Director. The nominees are Jane Campion, The Power of the Dog;
Kenneth Branagh, Belfast;
Ryusuke
say this one?
Hamaguchi, Drive My Car.
Okay, got it. Steven Spielberg, West Side Story.
Really? Paul Thomas Anderson, Licorice Pizza.
Oh boy. So, all these movies I saw.
And like we said, majority of the time, the director leads always into motion picture lots of times.
Okay. So, going back to the Best Director nods. Crap, I forgot them. Jessica... Why am I thinking Jessica Chastain?
The first one is The Power of the Dog.
Jane Campion, yeah, she did good. I think the film overall was good. I don't think it was blind, but I think the story itself was what really drove me all the way to the end of it. I think she definitely conveyed how much of an asshole Benedict Cumberbatch can be. And I applaud her for that.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
To get on that
I'm
one.
sorry. That was one of the first films I saw.
Next is the Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah, he did a good job with Belfast. We talked about before. He did a great interpretation of a true story, while at the same time really conveying this coming of age story set within a very odd backdrop this kid had to be raised in.
Yeah. But
at the same time, it really wasn't the focus. The main focus was just this kid trying to survive all of this.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did a very well job directing.
Okay. Yeah, I thought the same thing too. Drive My Car.
Oh yeah, I mean, what else can you say other than I'm never gonna look at guns the same way again. Wait,
what?
I'm never gonna look at somebody driving somebody else in a car the same way again. Yeah, there we go. That's the one. That's the one. I honestly did like this. I did like the movie overall. I think the director did a good job with the performances and really showcasing what was going to be the breaking point for the main character of the story.
Yeah, I do agree. He did a great job, you know, portraying that, and just the way he set it up, it was just fantastic. Next is Steven Spielberg and West Side Story.
Sweet.
West Side.
It's Spielberg directing a musical. I don't know what to say. I think he did good, but it's not something that's not too difficult to do, which is direct a very well done, very well received musical originally and stuff like that. I don't know. I think he did good. I mean, Spielberg puts his name on something, everybody watches it, or somebody gets nominated for it, and he did, and I think he did good, but I don't think it was Oscar worthy, to be honest.
You didn't think it was like that well
overall,
done?
I thought the movie was good. The movie was good. But Spielberg being director for it didn't really make a difference.
It really didn't. But it's just what I like is that you get this director that's known for a lot of these. He does a lot of like interesting, like either it's like sci-fi or action adventure and stuff like that. It's like you hear Steven Spielberg going, "Oh, he's doing West Side Story." Wait, the musical, or it's like yes, the musical. It's like you don't really hear that. It's like he's diving into something that into territory that you normally don't see him dive into at all. Mm-hmm. You know, and to me, it's like he did a phenomenal job bringing it really, bringing it up to the modern age in a way of like portraying the story. And then the next is Paul Thomas Anderson for Licorice Pizza. I think this was just riddled with like so many people in it that it's like, like, and I don't mean like cameos, but just everyone in this had a great part in it, even if it's little. It was very well done. Of a classic like love story turned on its head, but like set in that time period. With somebody very young and somebody a bit older in life and stuff like just not by that much, but just a little bit, like just trying to understand where they want to be compared to like where they want to start. And I thought, he did a great job portraying that overall. It was a very good classic type of, romantic type of, kind of like I said, a romantic type of story, turned on its head. He did a great job itself.
Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah, I just did that. That's what I just talked about right now.
I would say Paul Thomas Anderson for Licorice Pizza. Yeah, honestly, Spielberg's name's there because it's Spielberg. It's like Brock Lesnar being added to WrestleMania card. Oh, it's Brock Lesnar. He's there. People are going there because of his name. Or Stone Cold going there. It's like it's that same situation here where it's like Spielberg's there. People are going to watch see if he may win another Oscar or has he ever won an Oscar?
Cool.
Spielberg.
I don't know. You have to look that shit up, damn you.
I don't know. But honestly, I don't think it's Spielberg. I'm going to go with Paul Thomas Anderson.
I'm going to go with Jane Campion. I've never seen Power of the Dog yet. But from what everybody's been talking about, everybody's clamoring about and stuff like that, they're saying this film is like the film for the Oscars, at least. The one that's going to probably take a lot of it away. And I'm going to have to go with Jane Campion on this one. That's what I'm going to. And like I said, lots of times the director, the best director goes really, quite literally into the overall best, best motion, our next category overall. Majority of the time, that's how it goes. It rarely ever does it, with a different way, but that's what usually happens. So again, like I was just stating, our next category, our final category of the night, is best motion picture. Nominees are
Nightmare Alley,
Don't Look Up,
Dune,
Drive My Car,
Belfast,
Licorice Pizza,
The Power of the Dog,
West Side Story,
King Richard.
Coda.
Wait, how you said that one? Okay, so we have a lot here. Now, when I was doing my movies, I would have told you after watching Drive My Car. Honestly, I haven't even checked. I believe it's nominated for best foreign international film.
I think so. I gotta double check that, but go ahead.
Honestly, my gut would say give it a try. My Car, shock the fucking world. But honestly, I look at this list, and this list is made up of what we got.
Yeah.
Two, guys. Yeah, I think Drive My Car we're gonna win best international. Let me look at the list again. So we got, let's see, we got two adaptations. Mm-hmm. It's two adaptations. They're getting yet another adaptation based off the original works of a book. Mm-hmm. We got another adaptation. We got one based off a true story. We got one based off a book. We got one based off a lot of like not original stories here and stuff like that.
Well, there are original stories.
Well, there are.
Pizza is original.
There are. If you let me finish, I was like, there are a couple, but honestly, the two that really stood out to me the most, the ones where I'm like, that was really good. I honestly enjoy. I highly recommend it. Not top two.
Yeah.
Number 3 will be Drive My Car, but like
the top 2 for you
will be Licorice Pizza and Coda. I really like Licorice Pizza. I love the romantic story. I love the very unique romantic story told set with the backdrop of basically Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
I did enjoy that. But at the same time, man, Coda was... I don't know what the fuck happened. I fell in love with this family by the end of the film. You kind of got where they're all coming from.
Yeah.
It was very fun. It was a solid coming of age story, a very unique one. It told a really hilarious story, but at the same time being very heartfelt about this family just trying to struggle with the decision of where not to let their loved ones go, their loved one go, or risk never being able to really truly talk to anybody in this small town.
Okay. Gun to head though, which one?
Coda.
You're saying Coda.
Yes, I'm gonna go with Coda.
I have between two. One I haven't seen and one I have seen. Again, one I'm going off of word by mouth, what people have been saying about it. Because like I said, even tonight, even what I've been reading about it, even online everywhere as of lately. Like I said, and the other one pretty much because I just loved it. I just love how they brought it to life and re-brought it to life, and that is Power of the Dog and West Side Story. I have it between those two myself. I loved how Steven Spielberg really brought it to a newer generation to help understand and kind of tell the story, but in a much more better way of like how a lot of musicals have been lately. You know, how they've been telling it compared to back in the day, which you really felt you had that Broadway-esque, on a stage type of setting, compared to here where it's like you're able to move all over the place. You're able to move through the city. You're able to move through the rooms and everything like that, going from spot to spot to spot and just feeling the people and stuff like that. And just like I said, this what you've been telling me and what I've been reading about Power of the Dog, how just that, expect the unexpected. It's like you're gonna think one thing it's gonna happen, but like another thing happens, and just the way they tell the story and like I stated, it's like the golden rule for a lot of people. I mean, it rarely ever happens, but normally, again, the best director usually goes into the best motion picture, and I'm gonna have to give this one to Power of the Dog for, in my opinion, overall. Just from what I've been hearing, from what you've been telling me about it, and things like that, and like I said, everything I've been reading online about it, it's just like, I'll get to it. I will watch it pretty much,
but we both agree they really need to stop doing these 10 nominations thing. It's so difficult to watch.
People are satisfied with it though. People are satisfied with it.
I'm happy all these movies get nominated, but as somebody who has to catch up, as people who have to catch up with all these films, it is such a grind. I am movied out again. I hate being...
Usually this is around the time where we get movied out, where it's like, okay, we need to stop watching movies for a while.
Don't be wrong, I'm still going to see Sonic 2, still going to see Batman IMAX. We still got to
find that time.
But honestly, yeah, that's our list.
Yeah.
Do you want to go over it one more time for each of us?
I think we're good for, like you said, for...
I gotta admit, you know what? I know we talked about not preparing ahead of time, but I love how unpredictable our choices are.
I did too, but I still want to be better prepared next year.
Because I remember last year, we kept on hitting the same mark on who was going to win every time, only a few times.
Because again, we watched majority of the films already, but hopefully my next year will be much more prepared and get right back onto that where it's like, even if it's, the same type of nominations, it's still, we're on the same type of page. But,
okay, before we end, quick percentage, how confident percentage are you in your choices?
I believe I'm confident.
What's a good percentage? What do you say about that?
I think really we're going in percentage. Really, I could say I'm about like 90-95% positive.
I would say about 93% for me.
For me, that's what I am. But
no, 90%, definitely 90%.
I'm between that though. But
yeah, thank you for joining us again on this Oscar-filled, exhausting thing. God,
you can check out the rest of our nominations pretty much right. Just shortly, just before, like I said, we cut off and stuff like that. I'll have it right after we sign out and stuff like that. But you'll see the rest of our nominations of our picks for the rest of the categories. So you can keep up with them to see if you guys can match up with ours or agree with our choices on the rest of the nominees.
Yeah, let's be honest. Encanto's probably winning for Best Original Song, whatever song they're fucking playing at that thing.
It's gonna be between Encanto and Billie Eilish because everyone's saying it's between those two right now.
It's a really good song, though.
Everyone's saying it's between those two as of right now because it's like those are the top songs.
Yeah, Double Seven will be capping out the Madrigals at the Oscars. But other than that, if you're new to the channel, you hit the like button. If you want to talk to us more about stuff like this, comment down below. If you want to share us around, share it around. And if you like us just a little bit more than anybody else, when it comes to talking about the Oscars, hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the bell icon as well.
What are your guys' thoughts and predictions going into these Oscars, this Oscar season, this, what's going to go on tomorrow night? I'm going to try, like I said, I'd say tomorrow night, I'm pushing to get this uploaded and this prediction video uploaded and good to go so then I can actually say tomorrow night. But what are your guys' thoughts going into it? Do you guys agree with our predictions? Do you have different choices or reasonings why maybe you go with this person or that film over this film and stuff like that? Let us know in the comments down below. And again, you can follow us on our predictions through Twitter on pretty much currently who's in the lead as these past, I think, 5 years. I think I've been pretty much winning. Fifth year. I've been so far just not my much, just a little bit.
Last year we tied.
No, I think I won by 1 point.
I think last year we tied. 1 year I think we tied.
Well, at least pretty much. I usually win by 1 point or two, just by barely sometimes. It's always that one category that kind of throws us off, or at least pretty much one of us off. But again, you can follow us on Twitter on Oscar night. He'll probably be in charge of that because I'll be working that night.
Yeah, last year you got him. This year you get me.
Yeah, you get him overall and his thoughts. Whatever happens, happens.
Hey, maybe we'll get somebody twerking again, like last year.
Don't remind us. But let us know, again, like I said, let us know in the comments down below what are your guys' thoughts on this year's Oscars. But also, what do even then, once the Oscars come and go, what you guys could comment on what you guys thought of the Oscars overall down below as well. But yeah, other than that, we thank you for watching.
And of course, I'm not at all suggesting you check out our other last year's predictions, but we do have, pretty much except for a few of them, we have all of the trailer reactions to a lot of these Oscar picks we were talking about tonight. So check those out right here on the channel. But until next time, though, I'm Kristen.
I'm Christopher.
And this has been a very Spielbergo-filled episode of SRB.
And again, right after we pretty much cut off here, we will have the rest of our predictions for all the other categories right after this. So, see ya.
Later.
Hey guys, thanks for watching.
If you want to check out any of our previous reactions,
as well as one of our other SRB shows,
check out one of the playlists down below.
And if you want to check us out in the social universe,
you can find us on Twitter and Stardust
at Super React Bros,
as well as on Facebook
at Super Reaction Bros.